Yes, people. Welcome back to another episode of Blocks to Bags. My name is Seb. I'm joined by a special guest.
And it's Shadee B.
You might have seen her in the social update, but she's joining us on the Blocks to Bags pod today. And what we're talking about, we're going to be going through 3 different topics. It's all around how to get your money up in today's day and age, how to do salary jumping. Yep. How to get work outside of the UK. We're talking about the US. You've got some couple clients in the US. You're going to be dropping some gems. And also consultancy versus agency. Which one is right for you? What are the pros and cons? Which one makes more money?
Yeah.
We can both talk about our experiences around that. But boom, let's start off with salaries and salary jumping in the UK.
Okay.
It's getting tight right now. Crisis of living. People want to know, like, how can I actually get to the bag?
Yeah.
And if we're talking about the 9 to 5 bag, one of the best ways to do it is to salary jump. So what is salary jumping if you want to break it down for the block?
Salary jumping is when you move to a different career or a different job. It could be in the same field that you're doing or a different field, and you make more money.
Perfect. Have you salary jumped? Have you been on the 9 to 5er? Are you a 9 to 5er?
So I did have a 9 to 5 a few years ago, and I worked for a tech company in the UK. Then they fired me, and then after that, I started my consultancy business.
That's when the birds started flying.
2 days after I got fired, I registered my business, and then got my first clients, and then I started contracting for like tech companies. One of the tech companies that I work with is in San Francisco, and I've basically helped them build the startup.
That's cool.
So I've gone in as a consultant, and now I'm like a contractor with them.
Okay, so
essentially,
you've done the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You've done agency, contractor. You've done UK, US. What's the best?
my personal favorite is contractor.
Yep.
Contractor, consultant, when you are a consultant, you are positioned as an expert in your field. So if you are contracted by companies to go and work with them, they treat you and give you the flexibility of you being self-employed, like you being a consultant. They just say, I need to find out X, Y, and Z, or I need to problem solve this area, or we need to increase our revenue this way, or we need to change our processes. Can you come in and do it for us? And then you can set like a day rate or like a monthly fee. You can even negotiate how many hours you want to work in that week for them, because
where you work from.
Yeah,
everything's
where
on
you
your
work
terms,
from.
basically.
Everything is on your terms, because they need you as the expert to go in and basically pattern them.
Facts.
Essentially. So that's my favorite way of working.
Love that.
I do a mixture. I do contracting / consultancy, and then I have my own business where I do provide agency type services, as I would say. And I have to say, I think contracting, like consulting, is more profitable.
I would agree with you. So when I first started out my career, I've done the 9 to 5, I've done agency, I've done contracting, I've pretty much done it all. And I actually started off my career, most people go into the 9 to 5 first. I jumped into the world of consulting first, straight up. So straight off the bat, I was tasked with, what is my day rate? How much should I be like charging people? How do I actually build up my services and things like this? So for me, a lot of the times I found that, especially with contracting and the flexibility that it gives you, when I was like a marketing manager or like even a head of marketing, I even finessed like a head of marketing role in some of the startups I worked with. I was like, cool, for you, I'm going to work 2 days in your office. For you, I'm going to work 2 days remotely. And then I've got my other clients that I have. I created a little agency with my boys where we do like content, blogs, social media, that kind of thing. So contracting gave me that flexibility. What I really loved about contracting was that if you're good enough, you can kind of set your own day rate and you can change that every client that you kind of go to. So for me, it was very exciting to see myself start at one point, acquire the skills to be able to take myself to that kind of next level. And And for me, when I did an internship at my first place, it was Investec after uni. The head of marketing that they had, I realized that they hired him as a contractor. And when he told me his day rate,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, people get paid a monthly wage as a day rate,
Yeah.
as a contractor. And that really opened my mind. I was like, you know what? Forget the 9 to 5 thing. Let me just jump straight into that bag.
Honestly, contracting is so beautiful because you can literally have multiple full-time salaries.
Yeah.
You know, and then because you are a contractor, you would have to set yourself up as like a limited company or a sole trader. So you are going to earn that full day rate because you're working outside IR35. So working outside IR35 in the UK, it means that you're not going to get like the 9 to 5 kind of benefits as in like the 25 days holiday or like the pension.
It's kind of sweet though, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
When I got that, I said, oh boy.
Because that's what you get through PAYE. But I always say to people, you're still going to earn more money working outside of IR35 than if you're going to get that 25 days holiday.
But I'm not going to lie to you. There was times where I really thought, because when I was doing the contracting thing, every day that I didn't work, I was like, that's money out of my pocket.
I know, but
that's money out of my pocket, isn't it?
You can get some contracts, especially if you contract in the US, that they give you paid time off even though you're a contractor. Because if you work like within US companies, like tech companies and stuff like that, and they don't have offices in the UK, then they can't do anything but hire you as a contractor. Because you would have to be employed by like a UK company to get those PAYE benefits. So they hire you as a contractor regardless, even if they wanted to hire you full-time or not. Yeah. So you would still have to set up like your limited company or sole trader, and you would still technically be self-employed. Yeah. So they would still give you the benefits of paid time off. Okay. Just not the 401k and the private healthcare and all that stuff that they give you, but that's fine.
So definitely try out contracting. Don't wait too late into your career to make that jump, because you could get really rewarded very nicely for it. And like, your rate isn't decided necessarily by the market or the job, or
it's what you value yourself
it's
as.
What you value, but it's also what other people value.
Of course.
You can go to someone and be like, hey, give me $1,000 a day, that's my day rate, and they're like, no.
But I think it's a mixture of what you value yourself as and what they value yourself as, because if you have confidence in what you are providing, they can feel that confidence. They can feel like, okay, this person knows what they're talking about, sort of thing. Okay. And if you provide them with solutions, even in like the interview consultant stage before you even get hired, then you have a better chance to be setting that fee higher. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So any specific like tips, tricks, or hacks that you've kind of deployed to ensure that you get like the rate that you want when you're talking to clients?
So one of the tech companies that I've been working with in America for the past couple of years, they contacted me because they wanted me to do like a consultation with them, because I was also doing like hour consultations for like market research companies and tech companies and stuff like that. And they said, it's just going to be 30 minutes. I just want to ask you questions about processes that we can build in our company. Yeah. And I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm going to put together a presentation. I'm going to do a SWOT analysis of what they're already doing. I'm going to come up with a list of like solutions and benefits and stuff like that, because I thought, this could be an opportunity for me to get like a long-term contract sort of thing. So I literally went in there, even though he said like, I just want to have a quick call with you and ask you questions. I went in there with a presentation, gave them solutions, like presented it all to them, and then at the end of the call they said, we want to hire you, can you come and work for us?
Nudge me, because that is exactly what I did.
I swear.
When I was contracting with clients and stuff like that, I gave them extra value.
You have
in the beginning. I led with value, and they absolutely loved it. And they were like, cool, when can we hire you? Like, when can we get started?
Because these like tech startups and stuff like that, they want to work with people that have an entrepreneurial mindset, and approaching a call with that is having an entrepreneurial mindset. Like, you are stepping outside of the box and you're thinking of innovative ways to get in with them, you know what I mean? Like, be able to end up working with them and give them solutions already. Because if you literally just went off by what they said, they wouldn't be interested after. You know, you have to present yourself as like a leader and to have
Yeah.
those skills.
Yeah, exactly. And with contracting, once you get a client or a case study under your belt, you add that to your portfolio and you use that as leverage when you're negotiating your rate with your next
Yeah.
client.
And the beautiful thing about contracting as well is that you can get different contracts at like tech companies where you could be positioned as like an account manager still, or like a
Yeah.
partnership director.
Mm-hmm.
So you can gain clients through those
Yeah.
contracts and it will add to your portfolio
Yeah.
of reviews.
Yep.
Does that make
Exactly.
sense?
Yeah, no,
Reviews,
no, no, exactly.
testimonials.
Exactly. And also another tip or trick that I kind of did was I made sure that I worked within the client's offices, and a lot
Yeah.
of times it would be within co-working spaces. So whenever I was working with the client, I would also bump into other sort of companies in that co-working space, whether it's like our neighboring office or whatever
Yeah.
it is. And I'd always impart little nuggets of like marketing wisdom to them, isn't it? And then that actually led me getting to
Always.
my next client. So you kind of want to be in an environment where there's access to loads of other companies and
Yeah.
clients, whether you're an account manager for a company that deals with other companies and
Yeah.
they get direct access to you, or
Exactly.
you're based within an office or a central co-working space where there's like loads of other sort of companies next to you. I think it just gives you like great leverage when it comes to the amount of
Exactly.
clients that you can kind of get. So don't be too closed off when it comes to kind of contracting and be like, hey, I'm gonna do it remotely in my room. I'm not gonna speak to the wider team. I'm gonna be don't silo yourself from the rest of the company.
Yeah,
I
100%.
love that.
Should we give some tips and advice how to get into contracting, consulting?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
How did
I've
you?
got
I'm curious to see how did you get into
this is a good question actually. So
it?
essentially how I got into it was after I finished my internship, I ended up working for one of the guys on the team, helping him build his startup. He couldn't actually afford to employ me full time. So actually my first job was contractor by force. I can only hire you for 2 days a week or 3 days a week. I said that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't even think he wanted to draw up like a part-time employment contract or anything like that. So he's just like, just come as a contractor, self-employed. Let's just do it this way and like let's take it from there. So I started off like that, just out of kind of chance
How
in a way.
much was your first contract?
My first contract was minimum wage.
Okay,
In
but for
fact,
2 days.
in fact, I worked an extra day for free for him.
Okay.
It was only 2 days, but he ended up convincing me to work an extra day for free, which is silly actually, but it paid off in the end because I studied a geography degree and I was doing marketing.
Oh, I
I did
didn't know
nothing. Yeah,
that.
I knew nothing about marketing when I started my first job.
Okay.
So I kind of used it as a way to learn on the job and learn more about marketing. And after that, I got a mentor who had a really good growth agency. And I ended up working in his agency.
Oh, cool.
And his agency, shout out Oren, Curve, they had multiple clients, multiple startups within, like as part of their roster. And he kind of deployed me as a kind of consultant, and
Yeah.
I'd work on easier stuff at first, such as like social media, creating content, writing captions, maybe managing some of like the virtual assistants. And then as I sort of proved myself, like they started giving me more complex roles and tasks to kind of do. And from there and like embedding myself within a marketing agency, I'm not gonna lie, it really gave me the processes, the methodologies, tips, tricks, hacks for how to kind of talk to clients, how to deal with like in-house marketing teams. So I would say one of the things that really helped me was actually embedding myself in an agency.
As a
After that,
consultant.
yeah, so after that, I had the confidence. So within that agency, I learned all about like marketing automation. I was seeing them do
Your
and I was like, you
eyes
know what?
lit up when
I was
you
like,
say
you know
marketing
what?
automation.
I could take this to other clients and stuff like that. So essentially, once I learned what I could on the kind of job, I started going to other people and saying, hey, I can do this. Would you kind of be interested? And after I started working with the agency, I started getting on other sort of independent clients. And it kind of just like ballooned from there. And
Yeah. It snowballs,
it
doesn't
snowballs. And to me, it's understanding how to deliver value in a business. for me, when I was consulting, contracting, I thought, cool. I started the game just like doing social media, basic marketing stuff. But I said, what is really gonna deliver value for like startups that are trying to like grow? And it was revenue, clients,
That's all
revenue.
they
Yeah,
care
that's what they
about is
care about.
revenue.
So I realized if I could help them unlock revenue online using
Yeah.
digital marketing funnels, such as like knowing how to do Google ads, Facebook ads, these kind of things.
Oh, you did paid ads.
I was a paid ad specialist, so I would consider myself a T-shaped
That is
marketer.
amazing.
Yeah, self-taught as well.
If you guys want to make money in marketing, become a paid ad specialist, because a lot of people don't know how to do it, aka me.
No, paid ads. But it's interesting though, because at the same time, when I was doing that, I was seeing the rise of influencer marketing. So I didn't necessarily even close myself off and be like, oh, paid ads is like the only way to kind of do it.
You
Like,
did a all-rounder.
you've kind of got to be, as a contractor, you kind of got to be open around developments in the kind of market. AI is coming into the game now, you know?
Yeah.
What does that mean for content creation and like what you charge clients and so on and so forth? So yeah, for me, I got some good skills from working in an expert agency. I used those skills and kind of packaged myself up, and it's all around testing the market, really.
Did you have a website?
I had a website. I had proposals that I'd give to all my clients.
Did you have an Instagram?
You know what? Actually, all my clients, I never actually marketed in my. As a marketer, I never marketed my services.
No.
It's just referrals.
This is a big difference between a consultancy and an agency.
Yes.
When you're a consultant or when you have a consultancy, you don't need to market yourself in the same way as an agency, because having an agency is a brand.
Yeah.
Where being a consultant, yes, it is your personal brand, but because you are an expert and you basically go in as essentially like an experienced employee basically to these different companies, you don't need to market yourself in the same way. I think it's definitely important to be on LinkedIn though, because that's where I found a lot of my
Facts.
Contracts, especially in the US.
You're right. I got loads of leads via LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I never took them, but like people would literally get in touch with me and be like, "Hey,
get
I like what you're kind of."
headhunted.
You literally, it's true. She's not lying.
Like, make sure your LinkedIn is up to date. Make sure you add all your work experience. Like, if you want to get specialized contracts and stuff like that, like make your experience as like specialized and as niche as possible. And that I think, in my opinion, that's probably one of the best ways to get contracts. That's how I got my contract in America.
Yeah, I love that.
At the tech company, because the CEO found me.
That's cool. And then we're talking about the differences between contracting, consultancy versus agency. I've worked in many agencies. In fact, my niche was digital marketing services for agencies.
Yeah.
So I would help. My first agency I worked for was actually as a marketing sort of consultant, was a video production agency. I worked for various different like smaller marketing agencies, and then I worked for an influencer marketing agency called Fanbytes that exited. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man, setting up an agency is hard. There's a lot of competition.
Hard.
You have to really fight for the kind of deals, and I feel like a lot of the time it's like a race to the bottom. Who can provide the cheapest services and provide the maximum kind of value, whereas. But I guess it's a bit easier because you're not having to always do like custom packages. You're not having to solve custom problems every single time.
I don't know.
No?
I think an agency is more. I think if you are confused, I think you should start off as a consultant, get the experience, gain the connections, gain the knowledge, and then if you want to start up an agency, I think then you can take the steps to start an agency. You know.
Yeah, facts. Now.
Because it's more expensive as well to have an agency than
It's a lot of fees.
You don't really have to invest
much
to be a consultant. You just provide your services.
Just do you. So I want to talk about salary jumping before we get to the clients outside of the UK.
Okay.
So salary jumping, you might have heard in one of the episodes, got promoted to head of digital marketing for my venture fund.
Did you?
Come on. This happened last week. Not yet announced. I mean, by the time this comes out, it's going to be out there. But I'm going to tell you guys this from now. I've started at the most basicest of basic salaries, and I've managed to continuously jump every single year to a point where I'm just like very, very happy. And now I'm kind of seeing the ceiling and I'm thinking, this is
Started
cool.
from the bottom. Now
Started
we're
from the
here.
bottom. So the important thing about salary and like increasing your salary and salary jumping is, my partner, she's pretty much stayed at one firm. She moved from one firm to another, and she kind of stayed there because they treat her really well, and
Yeah.
it's blessed. I can't lie. But for me, the opportunities that I saw was every time I jumped from one company to another, I made sure that I also leveled up my skills. If you level up your skills, you can definitely ask for way higher wages. And if you made an impact, so whenever I left the company, I did my own impact report. So I'm leaving this company. I wrote down everything that before I came into the company, how many website visitors were they getting? How much money were they making? What were they actually doing? I came in. These are all the things that I done. I literally have like a file sheet of just everything I've
That
done,
is a very, very
all the
good tip.
decks, everything that I've kept. And when I go into interviewing for my next job, I already have a case study there. This is how much value I've provided. Here are all the numbers. Boom, 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 boom.
Amazing.
Let's chat.
Guys, listen to this,
Let's
please.
chat. Let's
This
chat.
is
Let's chat.
some nuggets right now.
And you know what? Don't be afraid to ask for like a high salary.
Don't be afraid.
Yes, you're
Don't
going
be
to have to
afraid.
fight. Let me tell you this right now. In the UK, when it comes to salary, you're going to have to fight for every single penny because these men are tight.
That's so
I don't know if you have you noticed that
tight.
with UK versus US.
That's why most of my work is in the US, because you lot are tight.
Very, very, very tight. So with salaries, don't expect your employer. I'm just telling you this from experience, isn't it? If you don't ask your employer for a salary increase,
You're never gonna get
they're not
it.
because it's not within their interest to pay you more.
Yeah, so why would they give it to you unless you ask?
Exactly. So make sure to be having those conversations with your boss. So some of the conversations that I had was, hey, I want to get to this salary level. What do I need to do to get there? It's not just give me the salary. What do I need to do to get there? Okay, I want to see you do these things. Okay, boss, cool. I know all the things down that they say. Give me 3 months. Give me a quarter. I go in. I achieve those things. I come back after 3 months. Hey, boss. Remember when we had that conversation about this is what I have to do to get a salary increase? Well, hey, look, I've done this. Where's my salary increase?
Yeah,
They can't say no. I mean, if they've already, unless they're a waste man, they're not really
That
gonna
is-
say no. So you kind of got to corner
Honestly.
them into that kind of thing. But as I said, with employers, your salary is always gonna be capped. It's not your business. You're not really running it. At the end of the day, the CEO or the board kind of get to decide what your salary is, which is why I would love to talk about clients and the clients that you're getting in America. What's the budgets like in America? People want to know, like, it's hard. People are saying
do you
it's
know
hard to
what?
do business here. What's America saying?
Do you know, I feel a bit awkward saying this, but I'm just going to say it because this podcast is all about how to make money
Keep
and
it
stuff
real.
like that. I'm keeping it real. So I technically work part-time at the tech company that I work with in America. It's based in San Francisco. I've been working with them for almost 2 years. I was like the first partnership person, like first person to come in and build all their processes and hire their first teams and stuff like that. So they pay me more than most full-time salaries in the UK for just working part-time for them. And in America, it's actually not considered the highest over there, but here
Brazy. That's nuts.
it's a jump, like it's a huge jump. And then you have to remember as well, you know, when you're self-employed, the income is a little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, you know. Because
it's
you know,
mad.
you can do legal things like expense, like your travel, and 20% of your rent if you're working from home. Like you can consider your expenses. Whereas like when you're on PAYE, everything gets taken from you,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to pay for your expenses. Do you see what I mean?
It's a bump.
So it's more beneficial.
Facts.
I
And your taxes are only getting
Yeah,
more because of
taxes are
COVID
mad.
money, the money that we spent on COVID, so on and so forth. Like, I can only see it getting more and more expensive to do business in the UK. And if you earn a certain amount of money, we already know if you earn a 6-figure income and above, you're pretty much getting taxed at like 40 to 50%.
It's crazy.
It's crazy out here.
Not to talk about this again, but we're keeping it real. So my stepdad technically earns more than me.
Yeah.
Like figure wise of like
Yeah,
a yearly
yeah.
salary, but I take home more money than he does.
Brazy.
Isn't that
That's
crazy?
wild. Yeah, it's true. So it's very important to be able to have an international client base. What advice do you have for people? We had a question, for example. We asked a question to our audience. What kind of advice are you kind of looking for? And someone asked, shout out Ty, actually.
Shout out to Ty.
How do you get international clients?
Okay, so I touched up on this earlier, but
what's the first step?
Set up your LinkedIn profile,
Yeah.
okay? If you work in the business world and you're not on LinkedIn, what are you doing? Get on LinkedIn,
Facts,
please.
cool.
Do up your profile, add all your experience, start posting on there, post your work, stats, everything like that, testimonials. And then you can search the title of the job that you want to do and then type in USA remote, USA contract, USA consultant, or whatever area it is. And if you put it in the search bar, it will come up with all the American like remote jobs that you can do from the UK, because it will say in the description like different time zones is fine as long as that you can work within our time zone. Yeah. So if you work with American companies, like you'll obviously have to work a little bit later. Depends what time zone you're in. Like there's Eastern, Central, and Pacific. Pacific is 8 hours. Central is 7 hours, I think. Mm-hmm. And then East Coast is 5 hours.
Yeah.
If you can get a contract in the East Coast, it's probably better time-wise. But a lot of the contracts are going to be from like the startups, tech companies in Silicon Valley, if you want to go into that field. But if you're willing to work until like 8, 9 o'clock sometimes and start a bit later in the day, then you're calm,
Facts.
And you don't have to, like, there's different ways you can negotiate your contract. You can negotiate a day rate or by hours, or I would never. Don't do it by hours ever.
A day rate is a good place to kind of start.
A day rate, or if you're going to get a retainer, negotiate a monthly retainer. So
what would you put? Like, how does the retainer work then?
You could just say like, okay, I'll work with you on a ongoing contract basis. Let's do $5,000 a month, $6,000 a month.
And is that based on like hours or just a set of deliverables or
set of deliverables? Okay. You can negotiate that. They usually do it by set of deliverables. So we need you to do X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. You can do like sales contract roles as well, where it's like commission based as well. Yeah. So as long as you're like hitting your targets and you're doing deliverables, I think they don't really mind. Yeah. But obviously every company is different. I know this is just from my experience. So LinkedIn, guys, search American remote jobs and you can negotiate a contract.
There we have it.
And then
we got one more. Come on.
And then if you want
more gems for them.
If you want, you can the good thing about having a contract in America is that could be like your main bread and butter. And then if you want to get loads of mini contracts in the UK that you can work in the daytime, then you're like...
we really get into the bag.
Yeah, then you're like really, really... You could be making like 10K a month easy.
Who doesn't want that?
Like easy.
Who don't want that?
And guys, if you want to... this is another tip as well. If you want to get a full-time... contract in the UK, as in like getting a job basically, you can always ask companies if they are open to having you outside of IR35.
And a lot of times they will be because it's less headache for them.
It's less headache, it's cheaper. Yeah. Actually for them, they don't have to set you up on a pension. They don't have to give you holiday. So that's another way to kind of like increase your money a little bit.
I love that. I think we've covered. We've given them the tips, tricks, and gems. We've given you guys a lot. We've given you guys a lot, but there's more that we'll cover in future episodes. If you've got questions, drop them in the comment. I'm your boy Seb,
and it's Shadee B.
This is Blocks to Bags, and we out.